It's your favorite time again. We're going to be doom scrolling Twitter Roonies. Baby dolls. ChainLink hasn't moved up in a long time. ChainLink. Sergey joined CoinDesk to talk early ChainLink, his entry into crypto, the future tokenization, and more. So Sergey, wow, it's an hour long.
And that's kind of the basis of banking.
So ChainLink, friends, remember, it's in the name. ChainLink, linking chain. So remember, in the future, there's going to be a lot of chains. Everyone's going to have a chain. Crapple, Amazon, Soyflix, everything. And the chains need to talk to each other because they're all going to have their own different quirks. You know, fast speeds, low speed. They're going to do different stuff. And they want to all grab data or maybe sync your accounts. Like you imagine you had like Aave credits, or you had an NFT on another chain, and there's a government-sponsored chain. Well, ChainLink, well, I guess the premise is, right, that's what they've really built the technology. They built something in the middle. Everyone connects to it. It's a standard, and it mints tokens and does bridges and moves stable coins and stuff around. So that's the whole premise of it. The thing is, though, ChainLink is an oracle. It's part of the DeFi subsector, and it had its cycle 1 run last 2021 and 2020. 2021 it was terrible for it, but 2020 it did. And right now, it's obviously still in the poop zone. Here is the link ETH ratio. So, yeah, hopefully it does crank on through. Remember, ChainLink is around 20, what is it, 23, 24? Was it down 23? Yeah, so it's got a long way to go. Now, I'll show you the link USD chart. It's it right now. It's doing these big, long, weekly reversal points up here, which is nice. It's higher lows. It's good to see. So it's got to really crank on through 40 to 50 bucks. And key level for me is 160 bucks. That is 100 billion market cap. 100 B, 100 billion market cap. That's what I'm looking for. Otherwise, I'll call it anti-Semitic, bigoted, and racist. Here we have Mr. Munchies. SPX 6900 is only limited by the creativity of our believers. So it's obviously Morad's meme coin pretty much at this point. Yeah, SPX 6900, SPX 69. So when it comes to MemeCoin SuperCycle, still believe in them. Still love our memes. There's just a lot of bad apples which have spoiled the rotten part of Solana and stuff out here. But we're obviously seeing Wall Street come in, and they're buying Ethereum. There's stablecoin SuperCycle coming out here. So we all believe on all our memes. I don't change them every 2 seconds. That's why, friends. See, with the memes, it's a bit tough because, like, originally, memes, people believed in them, right? But then what ended up happening was all the scammers, grifters, and just the normal market, they kept supplying tokens to the marketplace because they don't believe in anything, right? They're all dumped in 24 hours and they leave. So they kept spamming coin supply, and now you obviously have the pump fund stuff and all the dilemma there because nothing can stay bid ever. They go up and they go down, and there's people still in the arena. They want somewhere to go, just no one knows what to do for them because they don't believe in anything. They're just... Other people making products, they're trying to make a product for the 150,000 daily users who are in pump fund losing their money, but they have to make like trading tools and just pretty much other ways to basically suck away and extract their money. Because like, obviously I can't make a coin for you because you don't believe in anything. You just dump it anyway, right? So we'll see how that plays out. Here we have Mr. TooSpooky from Pulse Chain, Tangang, and Crypto.com, Skitty Cat. Still chasing ghosts over eggs and toast. I don't know the context. I don't know what it means. But I do wonder if we're going to see one of these femgirl vampire thing return. I remember there was a couple of them last cycle, 2021. Mr. Decentralized Me, this is great. Spoiler alert. Richard Hart's favorite film is The Game. It's about a man who gets pulled into an elaborate, orchestrated game that blurs the line between reality and illusion. The whole point is to stress test him, strip away control, and then ultimately reveal there was a plan all along. Every twist raises the stakes but doesn't resolve. The game breaks him until he surrenders control. He can't tell who's in on the conspiracy, even the people he trusts, until the finale, where everything is revealed when he's at his lowest. I posted this, and then LibertySwap changed things up. Didn't post step 2, instead post random bits. So that's interesting, friends. I know the game's a really, really good movie. Yeah, it's basically like, you know, the character in there, like all these things happen, the conspiracy, we can't trust anyone at the end, and it's basically to strengthen bonds by the end of it, and make everybody more fortified. Speaking of LibertySwap Finance, friends, they've done a big update again. They have now, you now do gasless mode for Arbitrum chain. We are heating up. So Arbitrum, friends, all transactions from Arbitrum, Coinbase buying Pulse chain assets will no longer require ETH for gas fees. We have abstracted and sponsored those buy orders. So that's with the new Ethereum update. You have the abstraction of that. So abstraction, you turn just your wallet into a smart contract. So we can do stuff like that where we can pretty much, pay something for you and it can take your swap for you and like act as a middleman to do that, and then pay the gas fee out of that, which is really cool. Except obviously there's been some heated stuff with some LibertySwap Finance because they basically revealed themselves as a boss. What I think, see it as like a separation really of like, because LibertySwap Finance, as it's becoming more and more obvious that there are some, let's just say, some very important critical founding hands on Pulse Chain. There's a bit of the account has posted pDAI to $1 a bit too many times, so the whole idea is probably to separate them so we can get the weak hands out. We'll see. Here we have Mr. Hodlnomics saying, I hated it so much. Who the truck makes a game like that? It's all I could think. Wow. So Mr. Hodlnomics didn't like the movie, the game. Yeah, I get it. Remember as well, friends, Mr. Hodlnomics, just some background context. Mr. Hodlnomics, he converted to Islam. And in Islam, they write a lot about the jinn, which is, it's pretty much, if you look at it, it's pretty much reptilians. It's pretty much like reptilian UFO things that we see. But the jinn and Satan and that stuff, it's all about deception. So that's why some people that they really just, they don't like trickery of any form. Like they got so much PTSD of trickery, not even for like jokes or something out here, but obviously the Pulse chain thing is kind of like gone like really deep dark path, right? When it comes to like going beyond the joke, right? Seeing things go down 99%. However, you might see it differently, right? Like if you plot yourself in the middle of any of the Bible stories or anything out here, it looks like God's playing a joke on you. But you don't see until the end. That's the problem, though. Okay, you don't know when the end is. Right, so you go, am I being fooled with trickery, or is this all part of a plan? All comes down to belief. Yeah, obviously, I'm taking the part that it all comes down to belief. And what would make me believe? I don't know, man. Like, friends, if you see pDAI, my euphoria point is so low for pDAI. Like, if I see 4 cents, I'm like, you know what I mean? Just because it's breaking the all-time high and stuff again. So we'll see. TooSpooky. The easiest way for a normie to buy pDAI is on LibertySwap Finance. Remember that. The easiest way for a normie to buy XCH is on Crypto.com. Remember that. So that's actually cool. I like this. The test tube is the Pulse chain colors. That's very interesting. That could be very, very universal. Oh, here we have Tai Lopez. Tai Lopez coming out. Remember, friends, Tai Lopez, the master of saying absolutely nothing.
Nietzsche, the philosopher, was right when he wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." That's why children are important. Many a dark day has been persevered through because someone was doing it for their kids. Nietzsche, the philosopher.
What the? Why do you guys give this dude money? It's literally generic dopamine hit after generic dopamine hit. Like, you must do good things that keep working, and you must stop doing stuff that doesn't work. Wow. Many a good man has made things by being happy, and many a bad man has made things by being sad. Oh, boy. Dennis, Virtual Bacon. Do you think Bitcoin hits 200K before mid-2026? Good question. I think, I don't know anything. Bitcoin's 200K by the end of this year, and then it has a pop next year in Q1, January, February, March, which makes everyone think that it's gonna make all of us run for 2026. But then by, say, June 30th, which is the 6-month candle close, that somehow finishes red, and we're starting the bear market because I'm just, friends. Okay, like, yes, okay, I know I got very straight posture, I got very fluffy slippers, which have been confirmed here. Okay, fluffy Highland Bull slippers. Shout out to all my Highland Bulls out there. Hope you're getting a lot of grass. Hope you're getting nice pats from the humans as well. So no one knows. There's Tom Lee comes out and says all these stuff, which is great. Just like, we never go 3 steps forward, 2 steps back forever. There's always 7 steps forward, 12 steps forward. That's usually what happens, right? Because everyone's like, wait, this thing's never going to 0. Then everyone comes in, right? But also, friends, you got to remember to, we're trying to imagine something happening next year, right? And like one of the things that we're thinking about is, well, let's look at Ethereum here, friends. In 2026 May here, let's actually change it. Here we are. In May 2026 next year, it's here, okay? So that is major loser Powell. He gets replaced, okay? His term ends. Major loser Powell. So I'm just wondering if Ethereum, runs up to 7,300, everyone thinks it's over, okay? Everyone thinks 4-year cycle's over of sorts, but then, right, something happens, right? And maybe it does this big bull flag thing. It does this big bull flag, and then next year, maybe Bitcoin hits the 240K and Ethereum just has this like monster run up like that. That's what I'm hoping happens. And then as this is happening, Jerome Powell, major loser, this is like his term ends. His term ends, and I'm thinking, man, that's really scary. That's like a top. And people will say, no, Sammy, no. You got to understand, Jay Powell, he's gone now. We're all going to cut the rates. And I'll say, Habibi Albi, the market did this rally to price in Jay Powell leaving. You get that? Where the risk on assets. This whole move was pricing him in leaving. Ethereum is now in the middle of the 2nd and the 3rd fib. You see this big box? See, this is the 2nd fib, the 3rd fib, between 11 and 15K right here. And that might be it. Okay. But this is a giant win on. So that if I'm just doing base case stuff, right? Based off the business cycle and stuff out here. But of course, it's all tentative. We've got to keep on believing. Here we go. So, James, feels like next week in markets will be like when your parents come back from vacation after leaving you home alone, and the first thing your mother says is, "It smells funny in here." Interesting. So, that is Santiago. See, friends. Okay, so this makes sense. Look who reposted this. That's why it's on my feed. Santiago Capital is Brent Johnson. Brent Johnson with a giant Johnson. Brent Johnson. Let's go get him. So, here he is. He is the dollar milkshake guy. Basically, he believes that the US dollar is going to keep going up only as they print. Okay, sorry friends, I had an apple, been burping the apple. Okay, and his concept for that, he says, as the world economy gets weaker, they need America to stimulate more. But as America stimulates more, it just further weakens everything else. So America will print money, but then all the other world governments, they'll be rotating into America because their countries are like basically disintegrating. So the US dollar, they keep printing, and they keep trying to stimulate, but the US dollar keeps going up in sort of like some shock explosive boom. And that's like a big risk off event for the world because everybody's debts are in US dollars. Well, 50% of the world's debts are in US dollars, right? There's $360 trillion of debt in the world. Sorry, debt. 180 trillion is US dollars. So if the 180 trillion dollar, the debt, which is your liability, if that's strengthening, you're like, that's pretty much him. So I'm not surprised he is retweeting this bearish tweet because pretty much everyone's come back from America. They've gone on their holidays. They probably bought some more squeaky chairs. They probably jumped around in cardboard boxes at Disneyland. That's probably why you're there in Disneyland in the first place, the cardboard boxes. So he's saying when they all come back, that's why, friends, every year for in markets, that's why September's poop. That's why even Jim Cramer says September's always awful. Yeah, because everyone comes back from the holiday and they look at the data and they're like, there's too much risk here. Sell. I hope this time is different. Here we have Pulse Chain crowd favorite, Sir Nathaniel the dog, not the cat, not the turtle, and not the seal, the dog.
Another reason that he'd want to start a fake mailer narrative.
So remember, possibility that the 80,000 Bitcoin heading our way and a fake mailer narrative is just there to establish plausible deniability. Sir, have you been... I'm going to have to check my bathroom. Do you have any listening devices in my bathroom, sir? I didn't check underneath my toilet bowl. They'll figure it out.
Could be that he is getting some sort of plausible deniability and he's about to fucking pump the shit out of the chain. And so it would be really obvious if, 80,000 Bitcoin, for instance, just found its way over to Pulse Chain for no fucking reason at all. But if you have this narrative going around that there's these mailers, then now you have plausible deniability. And now you have the, what is it called? Railgun, privacy transactions, all this shit. And the bridges are open, gasless right now. It's like ready for this big influx. And now you have this narrative that there's going to be a marketing, a big marketing thing. And
well done, sir. Well done. Now, here's the thing. Friends, look, man, look, I'm starting to wake up every day. Look, from the bottom of my heart, I like us fighting because it's fun. It is fun. We're on the same team. You know what I mean? They're cat fights. Okay. But like, come on, man. There's millions of people out there. We don't have to fight each other. It's fun, but you don't really have to like kill people around. You don't have to like do that. That's why it's kind of like, come on, man, come on. But friends, you just got to remember, okay? Do you remember when I lit a candle multiple times to remove the Pulse Chain hex curse? Do you remember that? I lit the candle. I remember that. Okay, you remember that last year? I was doing a lot. Okay, now here's the thing. Let's make it more obvious. There are larger than normal wallets in Pulse Chain and PulseX and PHEX and EHEX, large token holders of Richard Heart core coins who probably shouldn't be there. I believe if Richard could change hex stuff, he would change maybe something. And I would guess, this is just me, because the cycle played out so fast, I'm guessing Richard, he wouldn't have shaked out people with this little basically pin dick piece of trash, 66%. These are not shakeouts, bro. They were big back then, yeah. Down 80%, down 60%, down 50%. Friends, they were big back in 2020 for altcoin. You know what I mean? They were big. No. Now, obviously, he stepped it up with pDAI. Like, no, bro. I'm going to shake you out. You're going 99.9% down, brother. Which we're laughing now. Ain't funny. It's not funny, but my gosh, So I feel like if he would rewrite this, he would actually kill Hex and just send it all the way back down, get him out, and then start doing something like that. And then after the Pulse Chain thing, after the Pulse Chain sacrifice, he would actually send it down again like 92%. Right? No, more. Okay, so on Pulse Chain, it dropped. Okay, where's the sacrifice? Okay, here it is, July. It dropped 30%. Hey, friends, I swear, I think if we could go back and rewind time, he'd probably want to drop it 95%. Get them all out. By the way, I'm drawing the pDAI chart, aren't I? I'm drawing the pDAI chart. This is a free pDAI chart, friends. This is a pDAI chart. Like, get them all out. Bang. Okay? Because, look, the timing of the cycle is outside of his control. We all know now it's from the business cycle because I've made videos for you daily for a long, long time, the business cycle. Yeah, but so I guess, but here's the thing, friends. We're looking at it in hindsight. So because we're looking at it in hindsight, it's easy. You can't just say, oh, do this. But like, it's not about that. So these billionaires, they don't say like Elon Musk, friends, he doesn't say, oh, I definitely shouldn't have like rolled some K and banged that Asian chick and made baby number 11. He doesn't say that. He says, okay, now that baby number 11 is here, how do I kind of just change things differently for the next baby mama, right? Maybe I'll DM them on Twitter like Tiffany Fong instead of maybe just send them in a post mail or a postcard. So you see that things have been done differently now for a reason. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, do you remember, friends, I told you about deception and all this other stuff? Some people can't handle it. But the thing is, man, if it works out, you're not going to remember the deception. You're just going to say, euphoria. I deserved it. I earned it. Believers. That's what you're going to feel. I'm telling you, the story hasn't fully played out yet, man. That's it. The full story hasn't fully played out yet. I hope. Oh, it could be a crackpot. Could be going to zero once again. So that's what I think is happening. And yes, friends, we have seen there's on-chain, plenty of on-chain data. A lot of whales and sharks have been harpooned. Okay, so now you can see why a pulse chain pioneer, if you will, has absolutely no incentive to come out and tell the very sharks and whales he's trying to harpoon. He has no incentive to come out and tell them that, hey, I really like you. Wink, wink, wink. No, whatsoever, okay? He wants them out, man. He wants them out. And, some people might say, oh, he wants them out for his glory. Yeah, but I've heard some people say that. That's half true, bro. He doesn't have to do this. You know that, right? He could have just exit scammed ages ago. He could have, bro. He's a Bitcoin maxi, bro. He didn't need to do any of this. So, yes, it is a gift that if this works out, by the way, could go to zero. Could freaking go to zero. I haven't checked my freaking chart right now. Could be at zero already. Everything, pulse chain could be at zero. Pulse could be in negative numbers. Okay, the buy and burn could be going negative. Could be inflating from somewhere. Okay, I don't know. But, if it does work out, it's a gift, man. It's a gift. Okay. Friends, there's one stream Richard did where if you listen carefully, he tells you the truth. Okay. And he said, you should be thanking big whales. He goes, the best way to get rich is someone gets enormously rich and then you're around it. That's how billionaires get rich, friends. Yeah. Elon Musk, some people might be jealous. Oh, Elon Musk, his net worth's only 2x to $1 trillion now. He's got 450 billion net worth or whatever. Yeah, but imagine you worked in the Tesla factory early. Imagine you're one of the early guys there and you got 0.05% of the Tesla stock. You know what I mean? Imagine you're just around there. Yeah, okay, he gets $500 billion. Yeah, but he deserves it, bro. He put all of it together. So, okay, maybe Richard on his way trying to become a trillionaire or whatever. So, you get something. This is how we all win, friends. We don't win by this Soilana, let's do a fair launch, clicky with some insiders trash. Because what happens is poor people, friends, unfortunately, look, it's a tragedy of the comments. So, poor people, they can never all work together because a lot of poor people, okay, see, they're last place, but 90% of them are going to remain last place. Yeah, and they will do actions to show you why they're last place, okay? That's what we're talking about, socialism and communism and, that type of thinking and those actions, that's why they're there in the first place, okay? So, obviously, Richard Hart, if you reset time, you put him back the zero net worth, he finds a way to get back on top, okay? So, that puts us to where we are today. So, Sir Nathaniel, the anti-cat, a.k.a. the dog, you might be right, sir. We might see a conveniently timed electronic marketing gift. And man, it's going to be really, really, really fun. It's going to be really fun. Friends, I'm literally going to be just waving the green candle and the logos in front of every pulse chain KOL. We tried to save you! Millions of people love these electronic gifts! Imagine it'd be funny if Richard actually put one of my keychains here. Look at this gift! Pulse chain's going up! Man, sometimes, friends, look, I'm glad you watch me. I put all of this information together, okay? Highest value content in crypto. There's nowhere else to get this, by the way. Literally nowhere else. So if it works out, everything I'm saying, it's going to start to click to a lot of people. And for the rest of us, don't stop believing. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.